look, Dido's here. That was Dido, of course. She's here.
Hello.
Last time we saw you, well, I mean, I was 8.
It was the last century, wasn't
It was the last century. Janie was 4, and I believe
I
you
was
were
15.
You were 15.
Yes.
Yeah. How have you been?
Really well. How about you?
Yeah, we're okay. We're good. We're still doing it. First of all, I think, can we say hello to your mum
Yes, happy birthday, Mum.
and
Yes.
tell us her name?
She's called Claire.
It's her birthday today, Claire.
Happy birthday.
Okay. Happy birthday to you. What do you think? Happy birthday to you. Oh,
Happy birthday to you.
happy birthday, dear Claire. Happy birthday to you. I don't want anybody bootlegging that. I know it's a gem, isn't it?
As if.
Yeah. So, a lot has happened since we last saw you, and there's a lot happening now. Dido released her 5th album, Still on My Mind, in March, and Take You Home is the new single from it, which you just heard. She's also doing her first live shows in 15 years. There's already been gigs across Europe, and the UK shows start this Sunday. So, here's the thing, before we get into all of that, and you know what's coming, why the gap when we didn't hear much material from you? What's the story?
Yeah, I mean, I always take my time a little bit. I sort of live right.
I mean, it's taking your time and taking your time. You're not Kate Bush, you know.
I wouldn't mind being Kate Bush. Yeah, I sort of take my time, and I had a kid, and I sort of put records out, I just didn't tour them. And I was sort of doing some writing. I genuinely don't know how the time passed.
Yeah.
But was it a plan?
No, I did not plan to take this long. No, it wasn't.
But you definitely knew you were coming back.
I don't know. I never really know anything, to be honest. Like, I don't really know what. I actually do. This is one week I do know what I'm doing next week. But
apart from that.
But generally, I'm not a big planner.
But it didn't concern you. You didn't think, I might not be able to get back. You were always confident that you'd. That's great.
No, but I mean, as in, as long as I can write and enjoy writing, and yeah, that's all I really care
So in a
about.
sense, did that initial success give you the freedom to do what you wanted to do?
Yes, I really did, actually. I think the only album I wobbled about what to do was actually the 3rd album. You know, everyone says the 2nd one's difficult, but that wasn't, because I did it sort of almost the day I stopped the tour. I went straight into the studio and recorded songs I'd already been singing live. So actually Life for Rent was quite an easy album to make and quite quick. Then when it got to the 3rd album, I was a bit more like, what shall I do? And you start sort of reinventing things. And I really enjoyed that process, actually. But that was the only time I've ever really thought anything through.
You sort of veer between beautiful pop songs that you do and dance. Mm-hmm. And I think
Like
you've...
a dance.
Yeah. But you've always done that. And we know your kind of route to fame is the Eminem story and all the rest of it. How do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a pop act, a dance act? None of the above?
I see myself, probably first and foremost, I write songs, but I definitely started in dance music and in sort of hip-hop, singing the hooks on the Faithless stuff. And the first tracks I ever released were dance tracks. You used to go to the club and hear your acetate being played with your voice. You know, those were all my first amazing moments of sort of having music released. So I'd see myself actually as a bit of both.
Okay, we're coming back with Dido in just a moment. Don't go away.
I'm not sitting with my head in my hands right now, so you don't have to stay now.
Dido is with us, and she's been with us ahead of her first live shows in the UK for 15 years. This will sound like a strange question, probably not asked it before. You have I don't know how to describe it. A lilt is the phrase that comes to me. There's a lilt to your voice, a beautiful texture. When did you know you had that perfect voice that you have?
Oh, you're very sweet. It's so not perfect.
Well, it's pitch perfect, and it's, I mean, it is.
Well,
really.
we were saying earlier, there's a bit of magic in it. There is
That's just
definitely some
lovely thing to
magic
say.
in your
Thank
voice.
you. Again, it's a little bit unintentional. I'm not the best technical singer. Like when I try and sing a Beyonce song, I just become very unstuck.
That probably wouldn't be for you.
No. And then when I had the dance music, it was like a major disaster.
We do, when we sing a Beyonce song, we're about.
Yeah, and we come unstuck, and the happy birthday was only about 5 out of 10.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm not the best really, but I like to tell a story while singing, if that makes sense.
Oh, all right, but when you were young, were you in the school choir or anything like that?
No, I went for an audition when I was 17 I trained as a classical musician, but not singing. I only ever sung to myself. I used to write songs when I was a kid,
right.
But I didn't play them to anyone. And then when I was about 17, the school were doing Dido and Aeneas as the opera, and I was like, oh, I'm going to go and audition. I don't know if I can sing, but that part's mine. It's got my name on it. And
Right.
I turned up and they were like, you are not an opera singer, but do you want to try out for the jazz band? So that's what I did. So I started singing with the jazz band at school. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is fun. I love it.
And what's your real name?
Every time.
Let's hear it.
Florian Cladman, Fiel Armstrong.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Could you just say
I
that?
now only mumble it. It's just too mortifying.
Did you?
No, I didn't catch it.
Sorry, Mum.
Well, we'll have to listen again.
Play it back and we'll slow it down.
We'll catch that on BBC Sound.
Yeah, do the slow-mo.
Genuinely
Slow-mo
didn't catch it. I
version.
should know
No, I know,
it
you
as
weren't
well.
meant to. Yeah.
Now, what about the album? There's some great stuff on there. As you say, there's some dance stuff on there, and there's some lilters and some pop and some ballads.
It's going to be my new word. Next time someone says, what music do you... I do lilters.
I say the
Steve Wright
lilt.
made it up.
File you under lilting in the record stores.
I mean, that is the strongest, heaviest compliment
No,
of all
I
time.
I take it as highly flattering.
So, how long does it take you to put together an album?
Actually,
maybe
putting
12
it,
years.
Yeah. 25 years.
Yeah.
Yes, not very long when I actually put my mind to it. It wasn't hard at all. Me and my brother made it together, and we're pretty quick because
Rollo.
exactly.
Yeah.
You
Flew
enjoy
Rollo.
that studio process.
Oh, I
don't
just
you?
love it. I have to say, I love it so much that my problem is I never want that bit to end. I just enjoy it. Like, I love
Yeah.
working with my brother. We have a brilliant
But you must
time.
like going out live as well.
I do, actually. I was a little bit daunted at first, but then the minute I started doing it, it just felt absolutely fantastic.
Dido 2019 live dates. This Sunday, 26th, Glasgow, Royal Concert Hall for Dido. Monday, 27th, Dublin, Olympia Theatre. Wednesday, 29th, Manchester, Albert Hall. Thursday, 30th, Camden, the Roundhouse. Friday, 31st, Camden Roundhouse as well. Then in November, it's Birmingham and Glasgow. That's the Arena and the SEC. That's 28th and 30th. That's in November. And December, Dublin Arena, Sunday, 1st December. Manchester Apollo, Tuesday, 3rd. Then on the 4th, it's Brighton Centre, Ipswich Regent Theatre, Thursday, 5th. Saturday, 7th, Sheffield City Hall. And London, Sunday, 8th. That's December, Hammersmith Apollo. You would be very, very silly indeed to miss Dido live. If you missed it for some reason, you'd be
15
you'd be
years.
insane. I mean, you'd need a good excuse, and you'd have me to answer to.
Who knows when it'll happen again?
Exactly.
Yeah. So don't give me any excuses. Go and see Dido live. Otherwise, there's going to be some trouble. You understand? So that's a thing, isn't it?
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah. The album's still on my mind, and the current single, Take You Home, are both out now, and you can see Dido on tour starting from Sunday and then again in November and December. And what do you fancy from the album as we go? We played the single already. What do you fancy?
What are you in the mood for? Something?
I'm in a serious dancing mood.
Then how about a bit of Friends? That's another sort of dance.
Friends, can you hear that? It's coming up under my voice. It's amazing, isn't it? You hear that now? Dido, everybody.
While you were telling me, I turned against the wind.
And there goes Friends, Dido, 5 to 4. And here's Bobby.
Thank you, Steve. First of all, A92 is still closed at the